I believe that if communities are involved in that process whereby they benefit from conservation and they're involved and it helps them to sort of like see the importance of wildlife. Binga is different. We've got a sand beach there. We've got hot springs, the only sand beach in the country. Yeah. You always have a dream as a kid. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a doctor. And then they'll be like, there's physics, there's chemistry. You're like, it's a different story.
Smiles today. Hello everybody, welcome to Scholastica. I am Zilongezyo Muzamba and I'm so delighted to have you back again on yet another episode. Today's guest has got values that align seamlessly with that of Scholastica, and those are innovation, youth empowerment, and all things conservation. But I don't want to spoil it for you guys because I want him to share what he's all about. You've got such a unique name, sir.
Thank you so much.
Do you mind me calling you sir?
Yes, it's actually fine.
Okay, welcome, sir. Zilongezyo. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Yes.
For the benefit of the viewers, please tell us what your name means.
Okay, my name is Zilongezyo Muzamba. I know it's a bit of a tongue twister, but it means that blessings in Tonga. Yes. I was born and raised here in Zimbabwe. I was brought up in Binga. I learned a bit in Bulawayo, then I went to China for my university, and then I came back here in Zimbabwe because I believe that we can best solve problems back home.
I love that. Well, we are blessed to have you here. How do we say this in Tonga? Like to put blessings, like to incorporate your name in a sentence.
In a sentence, it's in terms of blessings, which you are blessed.
We are blessed to have you here.
Means we are blessed to have you today.
I would love to repeat that. Let me say it slowly. Okay, you heard him. I love Tonga. I would love to learn it. Our theme this year is empowering future generations through heritage-based education and innovation. And so this is why I'm talking about Tonga, because I want people to value their languages, where they come from. Yeah, and so thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so like I see you are in the business of also tourism as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm into tourism. I manage and direct a lodge in Binga called Batonga Villa. This is a 20-bedroom facility where we do conferences, workshops, and we have hosted a number of schools where they come for school trips. We've been established for about 3 years now. I would say that it's been a great experience, considering that tourism in Binga was something that was not looked on by a lot of people. But it's something that has been doing quite well for us, and has been benefiting the community a lot in terms of job creation. And then also for students, it's been quite good for them to learn a lot. Like recently, we had a school trip from Masia Pambili Primary School, and the kids had quite a lot of fun. They went for fishing, they went to the hot springs, they went to the Batonga Museum, and they got to learn a lot about the culture and the heritage that the Batonga people share. And it was quite a wholesome moment, and I think those are moments that we cherish every day in the tourism industry.
I absolutely love that.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we can have Scholastica there one day.
We hope so, someday.
Yeah. What inspired your vision to take this career path? Were you always this kind of dreamer when you were young, or like what? Tell me more about that.
Well, I would say that I've been a curious child since I was very young, in the sense that I always saw problems, but then I never had the solutions to it yet. Especially coming from a minority group like in Binga, where us most Tonga people, there was not much of growth and development there. So as a young person, you feel ambitious to say that, I would like to see my community grow. I would like to see my community change. And through the blessings of God, I've been able to travel the world. I did my degree in China. I also happened to be also a Mandela Washington Fellow, and I was there in the US for 3 months. And with all those things that you see as a person, you feel like there's a need for people from where I come from to also experience what I've seen and to also have the change that that we've seen in other places happen as well. So I think that's where the seed was planted to say that from where I come from, I would really like to see things change and become better.
I admire that so much. Congratulations on all that you've achieved. Do you have any awards, accolades?
Yeah, I do have a couple. I would say that it's interesting. Okay, my first prize was obviously I was a chapel boy at school. Okay. Yes, a church. But then I think that opened an avenue of a lot of awards. My first award was 2019. I was in China. It was for the Young African Achiever. It was Africa Asia Award. Yes, for the best young entrepreneur. And then after that, I got for Male Entrepreneur of the Year, 2021. Then I got an award for Community Leader, which was last year, 2024. And then also 2024, I was also fortunate to become a Nelson Mandela Fellow, whereby there were over 50,000 applicants, and then only 700 were selected. So it was sort of like a 1% chance of being part of the fellowship, which was a great honor. So I'd say that, yeah, to summarize, that's the short end of it.
Yes. Multi-award winning entrepreneur, go-getter, trailblazer, everything.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. But I would say that I credit that mostly to my parents, who have actually been influential in raising me, the community that I live in, and above all, I think God has played a key role where I've seen that if you give back to your community, somehow you get the rewards that you deserve.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Charity begins at home and doesn't end there.
Yes, definitely.
Oh. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do have siblings. Yes, I do have 3 of them. Yeah, one of them, she's an advocate in South Africa. Then the other one, she's in college at Girls College. Then the other one is a small boy. He's at Masia Family Primary. Yes.
I ask this because I see, like, we talk to students a lot, right? Yes. And we want to encourage them, like, growing up maybe in a big family. How has that been for you? Being a sibling who's rising like this, what's that been like for your siblings? How have you been encouraging them to pursue their dreams and stuff, or they're of a similar mindset like you?
Yeah, I would say that it's not an easy task because, with the global age that we are living in, a lot of things are changing. You find that our upbringing was a bit different from our siblings, but then you just have to find a way to actually live in their context. At times we tend to try and apply the rules as how we used to live and to like present, immediately. So I would say that, for example, with my siblings, I know that they call them the snowflake generation, So you have to try and find ways that way, at least you try and accommodate them. I've tried to sit down a lot with them, talk about them, go out, tell them the importance of education, how it can shape their future, how it can shape their careers, and also encourage that, you have to have a good network of friends, people who've got similar interests with you, similar hobbies, and to have some creative activities that you go out with, school trips, which are educational, which can also assist you. Then also your spare time, how you use your spare time. Of course, social media is good, but I always say that there should be some form of control to it. As compared to abusing the amount of time you spend there. Like I've seen on TikTok, there's a section about science and tech, and they always share maths quizzes. They always share how they build robots, AI, and I think those are some sections that I think young people should focus more of their time on, and I've encouraged my siblings to spend that time, in their own social media as well. So I think mostly it's to try and find a balance between how you can raise them with how you lived, and also in their context of how they are living right now. So I think it helps a lot. Yeah.
You come across as someone who's got sober thoughts and grounded. what keeps you grounded? I love asking this question because it fascinates me. Yeah.
I think what keeps me grounded, I would say that it's some principles that you put up as a person that you have to live on, and you should also see that these principles, they are not a form of punishment, but it's a way that can reward you into the future. You know, it's like someone who spends most of their time to study at night and wake up early morning. It's something that's very sore and painful. But then you find that eventually it pays out. You get good grades, you get A's, you get B's, you get a scholarship, and all those principles, to some extent, they actually assist you as a person to become a better person. So I think that has somehow helped me. And then, of course, I would say that the hobbies and the habits, they also contribute. But then above all, it's the general ideology that you have as a person, or a vision that you have as a person about yourself. Like, how do you want people in your community or at your school to perceive you as a person? You know, like, you are your own CV as a person, and it's very important that you carry yourself in that way, and it helps you. Yeah. Yes.
Discipline is a price you pay temporarily so that you enjoy the fruits thereof long term later on in life, and that's really admirable. Yes. You are big on conservation. Yeah, tell us more a little bit about that, how you got to that space. What?
You know, conservation, a lot of people would have assumed that it's something it's about khakis, shorts, you know, put on a farmer shoe, you know, just bite some grass, you know. That's how people think.
Driving a Land Cruiser.
You know, and you're out there in the sun and it's burning hot. But for me, it's been something that has been quite exciting and something quite fascinating, you know. A lot of tech is used, you know, and we use a lot of elephant collaring, which we used to track elephants from poachers. And then we also have, as I mentioned, the drones earlier on. And there's a lot of GIS technology used in there. And then, you know, so it's an interesting topic, you know, than the boring topic that usually people assume it is. But I would say that coming from Binga for me, is that I've always looked at it to say that conservation has been something that has been sort of like, most people who are indigenous have not been involved in it, in the sense that, oh, these are resources that belong to us, like the local people. And I've always thought that there's the need for local communities to benefit through conservation. And this can come through in the form of employment. This can come through in the form of protected areas, you know, because think of it that, you know, I like to link conservation to tourism as well, because, you know, the more we conserve our environment, the more animals we have. So take it for example that you've got a community whereby they've got a lot of elephants, and there's tours that happen in them. They're local, maybe there's a local game reserve, and people come through and they see the animals and they see the elephants, but then how is the community benefiting from that? So with us at New Roots for Africa, because I'm a founder and a director there, our whole concept is that we want communities to benefit through conservation, through ecotourism and employment. So you have a scenario whereby communities have to own these conservancies, they have to be part of them, and they have to benefit from them through ecotourism, whereby the locals get to be the tour guides, the locals get to run their own restaurants, the locals get to run the facilities, you know, a museum or something. Then at least you've got a direct beneficiation for the communities there. So it helps them to actually see the gains of conservation, because it's a very complex subject, because conserving animals can be a bit violent, because we've got what you call human-wildlife conflict, whereby we've got elephants who want to go in to graze in people's farms. Some of them, they'll destroy their land, their houses, you know, some of them, they even kill people in the event. So you find that communities, some of them, they've got a resentment towards conservation because of the pain that they go through. But then I believe that if communities are involved in that process, whereby they benefit from conservation and they're involved, and it helps them to sort of like see the importance of wildlife. So at New Roots for Africa, that's how we have seen conservation, and then that's the whole objective that we have.
Okay. Okay. What challenges have you faced in this entire journey, the conservation space, tourism, and all of that? And how did you overcome
them? I would say that for conservation, the biggest challenge that we've had is probably can be funding, because it's a bit tough funding, conservation, because you'll be covering large spaces of land, times as big as 600 to about 2,000 hectares of land that you have to protect. So you should have cameras, you should have drones, you should have cars, you should have rangers, and you should have all that in place. And then one of the challenges, I would say, that is the issue of the community, where I was saying that based on the past history that communities have for conservation, whereby they were secluded and there was like a small group of people would benefit from it, then they didn't get anything. Then they would, like, if elephants used to come through, they would rather prefer kill them, or they'll celebrate, or if there's a poacher, they won't even share that information. So that has been another challenge. But then I would say, how have we tried to solve that? For the funding, of course, we've got a few donors that are there who will try and assist. Then, of course, we've also find ways that we can actually cut our costs, whereby we involve our volunteers, we involve students to come and do research. Then we've got some attachments whereby students come to be rangers, and it also helps as well. And then in regard to the communities, that's where we came up with that concept whereby we want communities to be involved into conservation and to also benefit through ecotourism, and it has somehow helped in certain areas whereby they see those benefits. And then in regard to tourism, I would say that one of the challenges that we've had in tourism is that with Binga, is that it's been a place that has been sort of like under-marketed, whereby there haven't been a lot of people speaking about it in important spaces and social media, and you find that there have been a lot of myths and stories that have been proven false about Binga. And now we have a process whereby we have to demystify that, change the narrative, and sort of like tell the people to say that, what, Binga is different. We've got a sand beach there, we've got hot springs, the only sand beach in the country. Yeah. And we've got boat cruises, we've got the culture, which is very rich. One of the few places that are left with rich cultural heritage in Zimbabwe. So in doing that, then we've been sort of like try to solve that problem. And then, of course, some of the problems is that we have issues to do with perhaps the number of clients that go there, because in the tourism industry, to be sustainable, you need some good numbers to keep you running in terms of costs and operational costs and stuff. But we've been trying to do a lot of marketing to try and reach out to a number of people to come through. And then, and then also we've been trying to involve a lot of young people to be involved in tourism. For example, we are fortunate that the Bulawayo Polytechnic, they have opened a campus in Binga. And and they are doing courses for housekeeping, catering, cooking and stuff. So it's also something that we are happy about, because at least the youths in Binga can be involved as well in tourism. So it also helps us to sort of like lift up our standards and then get more clients. So I think that's the short end of it. Yeah.
Okay. Young people might have this question, like, why should I care about the future of tourism and conservation? Yeah. How would you speak to them to convince them to buy into the idea?
Well, I think the future, I think conservation and tourism is like similar to farming and mining in terms of income. People might assume that there's a lot of income or when it comes to mining and agriculture. But then, tourism and conservation, it's something that I think young people should be invested in. It's something that we're going towards in the future, and it can actually sustain them for their future. And if you look at it, there's a lot of talk right now about climate change. There's a lot of talk about wetlands. There's a lot of talk about the environment in general, and we're going to see a lot of changes happen. And it's important that they actually see that and actually predict it, because you can find that a lot of successful people that have been there in the past is that they were able to read into the future. And there's a lot of that's going on in the world, and land is becoming scarce, and these are topics that people are actually talking about every day. So I would say that if you really want to if you want to be invested in the future, you want to change the environment where you live in, you want to see growth in your local economy, because most Zimbabwe is composed of over 70%. 70% of people live in the rural areas, and there's a lot of land there, and that's where you can do conservation. There's rural tourism now. We have got a good colleague of mine who is also a Mandela Fellow, is Terry. Terry Wekwa Terry, like he's based in Harare, Ngezi. He's got a good establishment there where he does cultural cuisines, and he sells a lot of culture there as well. And he's been getting a good numbers there because he's been able to run that establishment there as well. So I think it's something that young people should be able to look into and say, you know what, even if I'm in Kai, Vubi, Chiredzi, Marondera, even if it's a raw area, if you venture into tourism and conservation, it can be a game changer in that local area where you are for yourself.
I love this so much because I'm all for protecting our natural resources. I wish we could have a system whereby the treasures that we have can be produced here locally and we sell them as refined products. Yes, and yes. That's how we gain value.
Definitely, and it's something that can actually help, because that's value addition, and with tourism, it's something that's very possible, through it, you can just grab your phone, get vlog about it, we go to Matopos, you go somewhere, even another friend of mine is the African Food Finder, Marvelous. Yes, he's done well as well in terms of vlogging, and he's just using his phone, his camera, and he's grown well, and now he's the brand ambassador for South African tourism. So, but it just took him to use his phone and and be at the right places to actually shoot that. So you can export that, and you can get people from all over the world coming to see where you are or buy your products.
People are doing the most out here. Shout out to Marvelous and Terry. You spoke of Marvelous and Terry. Shout out to you guys. We appreciate all that you're doing. And you spoke of a network of friends, and I can see you are living the talk. Because you said you encourage your siblings to have the right network, and I see that you're associating yourself with the people of a like mind, which is so inspiring. So I want to get into careers a little bit. What careers exist in the tourism and conservation space? Because I think, like you said, when the topic of tourism and conservation comes through, people think of khakis and tourist guides, but what's there that students can look forward to? Maybe they want to study in that field.
Yeah, and so when we do these documentaries whereby we observe nature and we capture that, and we do a lot of pictures, so it's a lot of filming, it's a filming industry, photographic industry. And also in conservation, we also have got careers for, I would say that for trekkers as well, that's another career. We've got careers for people who are into, GIS, because we do a lot of maps. We do maps for wildlife corridors, and they also help us to see where the animals go through. And so a lot of GIS is also involved there. And, I'd say that also in tourism, besides housekeeping, and we've got a lot of people as well who are involved in terms of management, accounting, finance, there are PR, there's a lot of public relations involved. Marketing as well is involved in tourism. We would like people, people are good in terms of event planning, because, you can have a big event that's going on. For example, just recently we had the Econet, there was the Econet Marathon in Victoria Falls. And then also in Binga, we've got another marathon coming in September. So for you to organize that, you have to be a good event planner. So it's also a good career that you can actually, path that you can choose. But then as New Roots for Africa, we have also been able to sort of like start nurturing that mindset of a career driven towards environment through establishing wildlife clubs for kids. Yeah, like just last month we launched one at a primary school whereby we had about 30 kids who are wildlife club members, and we assist them to learn about wildlife. We sort of like open their mindsets to realize that, you know what, there is a bigger scope of employment that you can have from where you come from, you know. So these kids, we hope that as wildlife members, we give them prizes, we give them awards, we pay for their school fees, and then it encourages them to go to high school. Then from high school, what we do is we'll engage them with some key players in the tourism industries. And then some of them, they can go for apprenticeship, they can be attached, and then we've sort of like created a path towards those careers as well. So it's something that there's a lot that can be done, you know. Yeah.
Wow. Ah, I'm enlightened already, because I didn't think it would be this broad, you know. It's what a revelation. What a revelation. What advice would you give to a student who's struggling to navigate their path in the career space, who's struggling to know what their purpose is, and something like that?
I would say that I myself actually used to struggle from that. Growing up, you always have a dream as a kid. I want to be a pilot, I want to be a doctor. And then they'll be like, there's physics, there's chemistry. You're like, it's a different story, So I think it's important that as a young person, you come to a point whereby you're like, okay, what are my strengths? Generally for me, I've noticed that I've always been a tidy guy. If I leave a flower, a remote there, and if it stays there, if someone moves it, I'll put it back. Like that order system. So when I grew older, then I started doing tourism. Like, wait a minute, this is something in line with my own habits. Like putting things in place. The bear should be there, the cow should be there. So you'll find that in our lives in general, you'll find that you've got a calling that you have, a passion that you have for yourself. You find that you're walking in town, maybe you're passing BC, and you're like, wow, today the sunset looks nice. And then you just pull out your phone and you take a picture, and then you notice that you like taking pictures. So, and you find that you can excel in that. You like fixing stuff, like you find the TV is dead, you're at home, and then you're starting fixing it. Or the iron is dead, or there's something that you're always fixing stuff. So that actually helps to actually try and align you to what you're really destined for. And you find that you'll excel in that field, and it will become much more easier for yourself, as compared to if you do something that's totally different with what you like. Because it will be like two forces pulling against each other, But so I think if you're a young person who's struggling to figure out what to do in your career, just take time to look around your strengths, what you like doing. There are things that you'll find that it's easy. Someone cooking can be so easy for them. Within 20 minutes they'll be done. But for someone else, it's a mammoth task. But so it's those small things, and you don't have to underestimate them. They do have an impact on your life, and they can help you. Then if you struggle, always have someone you can talk to, have a mentor. During our training for Mandela Fellows, they taught us a lot about, we call them accountability partners. Yes, whereby you've got someone who holds you accountable for what you do. And these accountability partners can also help you to be a mentor, to be like, okay, what do you want to do? Let's figure this out. And they actually guide you through your course of life, because you can't know everything on your own. So it's something that can also help, and it's proven to be a success for most people.
No one can be an island.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no one can be an island. So it helps a lot. So I think it's something that you have to take your time, Look at your habits, your hobbies, what you find easy, get a mentor, and then, if you're a Christian, pray about it, and you'll figure it out. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, because a lot of students are stuck in a tug of war, trying to choose between security and passion. Yes. So that's always like a very difficult decision to make.
Yes. Yeah, it's something that's very difficult, and at times it requires sacrifice. You can be a person who is more interested in filming, or photograph, and then you figure that perhaps at that moment you're doing, maybe it's a PR job or an administration job for you just to get an income. But then, you should look at it in a way whereby you look at the glass as half full than half empty, whereby you become smart. Okay, this is what I'm doing now, but then eventually I can do my filming, or during my spare time, I can do what I really have got a passion for. So you find that it actually helps. It becomes more of like a fuel for yourself to be doing something that you like on the side, even if you've got an 8 to 5 job. So it somehow comforts you and it motivates you, and eventually, if you give it time, that side hustle that you like can actually grow, and you might actually stop the admin job and then focus more on filming and vlogging and stuff. So you just have to find ways to strike a balance whereby you're like, okay, this is the situation now, but then I'll do this for survival, but then I have to do this as well because I enjoy it.
Yeah, I like this, because normally we try to look too far. But when you look at your daily habits, like you said, there's always going to be something that's going to show you where your purpose is, what your passions are.
Yes, exactly. And it's not so difficult, If you look at your daily habits at home, at work, at school, at church, there are things that you figure out easy. I was laughing to a friend. He was saying that, the way people like coming to me and telling me about their problems, I don't understand, and we laughed about it, and like, this today it was so, he called me for 2 hours. Then this other day, someone sat me down, is like, listen, I've got this problem, and he's always listening, I'm like, you should be a counselor or something, and it helps, and he's something that he's been pursuing now, because you find that you're a good listener. But that's a career, and it's something that can give you an income, and you get paid for listening to people's problems.
Yeah, you get paid for listening to people's problems and helping them find a solution. Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah, man, I hope you guys are taking notes, because this is so insightful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So like, this is sort of like a quick fire round.
Yeah.
If you were to sell Zim to a tourist, so someone who's never heard of Zimbabwe before, someone from Kazakhstan, however you pronounce that name, how would you sell Zim? Like come to Zim, go for it.
Yeah, I would definitely say that there's no place like Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe has got one of the most friendliest and lovely people, and you'll get to see the seventh wonder in the world, and you'll get to experience one of our best meals, which is Gango, and you get to experience the culture in Matopos, in Bingas, get to see the rock cavings there, and we also happen to have one of the largest population heads of elephants in the world, and I think that is something that you won't regret, and you'll definitely enjoy your stay here. So I think that's how I'll definitely put it out for someone.
He's absolutely right. Zim is the vibes. The British is here. Yeah. What's your favorite traditional cuisine?
I would definitely say that. Yeah, it has been Gango all along.
I noticed you throwing in Gango. I'm like, this one.
Yes. But then, I think, Osoga millet sadza with some delele, okra. Yeah, that's actually something that I enjoy most of the time.
To someone who doesn't know what Gango is, describe it. I hope y'all won't get hungry.
Yeah. Well, Gango it's a dish whereby you actually get different relishes. So you can have some sausage, some beef, some pork, and some chicken. So you get them into pieces, and then what you do is you actually fry them together, and then you get your tomatoes, slice them, put them inside, get your onions, cut them up, put them there as well, and then after that throw in some green vegetables, call them kovo, and then exactly, and then you mix that up, you stir it like a stir fry, exactly, yeah, and then give it some time, and then save it with some traditional salsa on sima, as we call it in Tonga, and then you have got yourself a filling meal, but prepare to have a long nap after.
Prepare to have a long nap after that. And then they say food gives you energy.
No ways, that doesn't work like that. Especially for students, don't have Gango before you go for study.
You said pap is in Sima in Tonga.
Yes.
Because in Zambia it's called Shima. It's amazing how these languages are so well connected.
Yes, because actually originally Tonga people come from Zambia. We actually neighbors, because Binga and Zambia are actually close to each other. So we've got a lot of some of our relatives actually in Zambia. Yes, so perhaps one day you'll find me living there.
Okay.
So we've got that cross culture pollination there going on.
Okay, I hope you guys consider trying Nsima and Gango, aka goulash. That's what the sophisticated chefs call it, goulash. But it's just a Gango. Yeah, it sounds delicious, man. Yes. If you're to look at your 16-year-old self, what would you say to him?
Wow, that's a deep question. I would say to him that don't doubt yourself, believe in yourself, and when things don't seem clear, always seek for guidance, and take one day at a time, live in the moment, enjoy, don't miss out a lot, and you've got it in yourself, kid. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Love it. I love it. Please finish this sentence for me. Yeah. My hope for Zimbabwean youth is?
Well, my hope for Zimbabwean youth is I hope that they become involved in transforming their future. They become involved in developing their country. They become involved in decisions that are made in their community, because people feel left out because of what's going on. But if you're involved, you know that you've got a say. And then I hope that they actually be involved in everything that's there and become better people and get the right people, the networks. And I think that's what I would say in general for what I hope for that. And I hope that generally after maybe a few years, we see the change that we expect in our communities and the people that we live with.
You've been definitely a blessing to have today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Z, for coming through.
Thank you so much. I also appreciate being here. It's been an honor, and I would say that people definitely have to visit Binga. It's a lovely place. We've got a beautiful place there at Batonga Villa, and you have fun, experience the culture there, experience the food, get to put your feet at the sand beach, collect we call them river shells, not seashells, and have some fun. And I think that's what I can say. But thank you so much for hosting me.
It was an absolute pleasure. You made my job delightful. Appreciate all the insights that you shared and all the advice that you gave to the students. I wish you well going forward in your journey, and all the best in all your desires and dreams ahead. Sky is not even the limit.
Yes, definitely. The sky is the limit.
Yeah. I know. For you, the sky is the basement.
Yeah, and in Tonga, we say Twalumba.
Twalumba. Okay.
Which says thank you.
Okay. Well.
Twalumba.
Twalumba. Thank you.
Say in Chibotu, it means you're welcome.
What? I say what? Chibotu. Yes. Okay. People won't hear the end of this word. No, thank you so much, guys. Twalumba for watching. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to show him some love. Visit Binga. Go see his space out, and show him some love. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and keep the conversation going. I'm Zilongezyo Muzamba, and it's been a pleasure hosting you. Till next time, bye for today.